Hello friends, you can't even imagine what treasures you might have right in your piggy bank. Today I'll show you several modern Lincoln pennies that collectors are willing to pay hundreds, and sometimes thousands, of dollars for. Be sure to watch until the end. You might already have one of these coins. 1992D, Lincoln Cent Close AM, a coin that almost no one knows about, but is worth thousands of dollars. You held it in your hands without even suspecting that it is a real numismatic secret. An ordinary cent at first glance, from 1992, with a mark of the Denver Mint. But there is one subtle detail that changes everything. A detail that most people simply don't notice. It's what makes the 1992D Lincoln Cent Close AM one of the rarest and most coveted coins of modern issues. What's so special about those two letters? The A and M in America. On the coin's reverse, it's all about the spacing between them. On the regular circulation coins of this year, the letters are spaced far apart as they should be. But in this era, designated FS 901, there is almost no gap between the A and M. They almost touch, as if stuck together. This is not an accident, but the result of a mix-up at the mint. The stamp from the proof coins was mistakenly used for the circulation coins, and such specimens are extremely rare. This coin is not a fantasy or a legend. It exists, it is known, and collectors all over the world fight for it. One of these cents in perfect MS6 for red condition was sold at Great Collections Auction for $4,000. Yes, $4,000 for one penny that could have simply been lost in the change. The MS64 red grade speaks for itself. It is in near-perfect condition, with bright, original shine, minimal signs of handling, and high visual quality. But the main thing here is the plus. This sign means that the coin is on the verge of the next level of quality, and therefore is especially valuable among collectors. It's like buying a near-luxury car for the price of a regular one. The benefit is obvious. Many still do not believe that such errors can occur in modern coins. But it is a fact. Even in the era of machine precision, human errors happen, and sometimes they bring millions of dollars in the numismatic market. This is what happened with the 1992D Close AM, where the error became the cause of a legend. Interestingly, there are very few such coins in circulation. Most of these cents were either accidentally spent or are in the possession of people who don't even suspect that they own a real rarity. That's why it's so important to look closely at the details, especially at such little things as the spacing between the letters. If you have a 1992 American cent with the letter D, grab a magnifying glass. Look at the word America. See how the A and M almost merged. Congratulations, you may have a coin in your hands that collectors are willing to pay thousands for. These coins are like hidden treasures among ordinary change. You need to be able to find them. That is why numismatics is becoming increasingly popular today. It combines the thrill of hunting, the beauty of collecting, and the possibility of sudden wealth. 1992D, Lincoln Cent Close AM is a perfect example of how an inconspicuous detail at first glance turns a penny into a value. And remember, every coin is a chance. The main thing is not to miss yours. And now, the second coin, and it's brand new. If you thought that only old cents were worth decent money, think again, because the next coin on our list is brand new, and its discovery has literally rocked the numismatic community. Meet the 2023 Lincoln Cent, featuring an extra V next to the designer's initials on the reverse. This variety was discovered quite recently, but has already caused a storm of discussion in collector circles. At first glance, it is an ordinary cent, fresh from the mint. But if you turn the coin over and look closely at the reverse, at the small initials of the designer, you will see an unexpected V that should not be there. This is not decoration, not a designer's idea. It is a mistake, and it is this that makes this coin so special. Collectors speculate that this strange V is due to either a die clash or another manufacturing defect. But whatever the case, the fact remains, the error exists, and it is very rare. The coin we are talking about was graded MS68 red by the reputable NGC. What does that mean? This means that the coin is in an elite condition category. It has a perfect surface, a clear pattern, a rich red shine, and a complete absence of scratches. MS68 is almost the maximum, and only a few out of millions receive such a rating. And now the most interesting part, on November 24, 2024, this specimen was sold for $770. Imagine an ordinary-looking penny, only a year from minting, and the price is almost $1,000, and this is far from the limit. With the growing interest in this error, the prices for the coin can rise rapidly. Collectors have just begun the hunt for specimens with this rarity, and each new find only increases demand. This is a vivid example of how even modern coins that were lying in the supermarket checkout yesterday can be a real find for a collector. The main thing is to be able to notice details. A small V can turn an ordinary cent into a great value. So, if you have 2023 cents, be sure to check the back. Look at the designer's initials. Do you see a foreign letter there, like a carved V? If so, you have a rarity in your hands, for which hundreds of dollars are already being paid. And now, for the third coin. It's from the last century, but it shines like new. The next coin on our list is a true example of how it's not age that makes a coin valuable, but its condition. Meet the 1979D Lincoln cent in outstanding MS67 plus red condition. And yes, this is one of those cases where an ordinary penny becomes a numismatic trophy, despite the fact that billions of them were minted. Many may say, 1979. There are a lot of such coins, and they will be right if we are talking about ordinary worn cents that have passed through dozens of hands. But the coin we are going to talk about now is a completely different matter. This is a rare specimen, miraculously preserved in almost perfect condition, as if it had just come out from under the stamp. The MS67 red grade says it all. It is the pinnacle of massed mintage excellence. Just imagine, not only did the coin score 67 on the Sheldon scale, which is already elite, but it also had a plus, meaning it almost reached MS68, the rarest and most valuable level. What makes such a coin special? First, the quality of the minting. Clear, sharp lines, without the slightest smear or blur. Second, the surface. Not a single noticeable scratch, stain, or trace of handling. And finally, the color, a rich deep red. That same bright red that indicates that the coin has retained its original mint shine. This is what makes it desirable. Collectors love such exceptions to the rule, and for good reason. At the Great Collections auction, this coin went for $2,550. And yet, it looks like an ordinary 1979D cent, of which billions were issued. But the perfect condition, plus to the grade, and rich color did their job. Such coins are very difficult to find in circulation. They could have been among the first coins to leave the mint and then immediately set aside by someone. Or they could have miraculously survived in bankrolls without entering circulation. And that is why they are now worth thousands of times more than their face value. But here's the intrigue. Such copies can still be lying in collections, banks, old envelopes, or even among your change. Of course, the chance of finding MS67 Plus in regular change is minimal. But the chance of finding a potentially high grade, especially in unopened bank packages, is quite real. So if you have any 1979 D-grade coins, especially in good condition, take a closer look. And if you find a perfect example, don't rush to spend it. Better get it checked by a professional grader. Who knows, maybe you'll be the one with the next $2,500 coin. And now, for the fourth coin, and it's not just rare, it's also historic. After the impressive finds of the past years, let's fast forward to 2009, when the U.S. Mint decided to honor the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. That's when a series of cents were released, each of which told a story about an important stage in the life of the 16th president. One of these coins, the Formative Years, has become not only a part of history but also a numismatic mystery, especially in the rare FS 801 variety with a doubling on the reverse. At first glance, this is just a coin with an image of a young Lincoln sitting on a stump with a book in his hands. Everything seems standard until you look closer. But if you look closely, you can see the doubling of details on Lincoln's hand, especially on the fingers and thumb holding the book. This is not a wear defect, not an optical illusion, but a real stamp error, doubled, die, reverse. Officially recognized and recorded as FS 801 in numismatist reference books. Why is this important? Because such varieties make the coin many times more valuable. They are extremely rare, and many of them still simply lie in collections or are trifles, unnoticed and unidentified. But this is one of the most noticeable and powerful minting errors in recent decades. This particular coin was graded by the reputable PCGS and sold for $870. And that's just the beginning. After all, with each passing year, as more people learn about this variety, its price can only go up. The coin grade is in excellent condition, but even without the maximum score, it impresses with its price. Why? Because the visual doubling is so clear that it is noticeable even with the naked eye. And such cases are rare. Most errors require a magnifying glass, but not this one. What makes this coin even more interesting is the meaning of the series itself. Formative years is the stage when Lincoln, as a poor boy, learned to read and developed himself. He sits with a book, and there are tools lying next to him, and it is on this symbolic stage that the error appears, as if history itself decided to leave a mark. So if you have any 2009 pennies, especially the Formative Years series, don't miss out on this chance to find a treasure. Get a magnifying glass. Look at Lincoln's hand. See the doubling of the fingers, see the two thumbs, or the overlap. That could be that rare FS 801. And yes, those coins could be sitting right in your change boxes. Not all of them have been found. Not all of them have been sold. Which means you could be the next one to sell one of those pennies for hundreds of dollars. And finally, the fifth coin, a small detail, great value. We will conclude this exciting journey through the world of rare Lincoln cents with a coin from 1998, which at first glance is no different from millions of others. But this is precisely its secret. The coin in question is the 1998 Lincoln cent wide AM variety. one of the most famous and beloved mistakes among collectors. The secret lies in the two letters on the reverse, the A and M in America. On regular coins, these letters almost touch, but on this variety, there is a noticeable distance between them. The letters are further apart than they should be. Why did this happen? It's simple and brilliant. This type of reverse was intended only for collector-proof coins, but by mistake, it was used when minting ordinary coins for circulation at the Philadelphia Mint. As a result, a small but valuable batch of YDAM was born, and they became a real legend. One such penny, graded MS66 red, sold at auction for $250. That's a lot of money for a penny, especially considering it might still be sitting in your change, an old purse, or a jar of pennies. YDAM is like a secret code among collectors. Many beginners don't even notice the difference, but experienced hunters know. If the letters are further apart, you have a coin with history and value. If you want to continue finding such rarities, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like it, and click the bell so you don't miss a single coin that you get paid real money for. There are still dozens of episodes ahead, new discoveries and rarities that no one talks about. And remember, wealth can be hidden even in a single penny. The main thing is to be able to recognize it. See you in the next video, bro.